I call the meeting to order. Unfortunately, Diana is unable to be here this evening, so it'll be me and my colleague Greg. I'll start with our public participation at Town Hatfield Select Board meetings. The Hatfield Select Board welcomes everyone to its meetings and all other public meetings of the Town of Hatfield. All regular and special meetings of the boards and committees of the Town of Hatfield shall be open to the public and shall conform to the open meeting law. Executive sessions are closed to the public and will be held only as prescribed by the statutes of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It is important to recognize that the open meeting law affords the opportunity to listen to the proceedings, but not necessarily participate. During meetings of the Select Board, an attempt will be made to find a balance between hearing from members of the community and conducting the required business of the Hatfield Select Board. That being said, we'll move to announcements. Do you have any announcements?
I do not.
Okay, I have a couple announcements. The Spring into Summer series will start at Smith Academy Park on Friday, May 17th. There's more information about the band online on the town website. There's also more information about the other summer series events that our celebration committee will be having. On Sunday, May 26th, the town will observe Memorial Day, honoring those veterans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. At 10 a.m., the Honor Guard will be visiting all the town cemeteries, and at 12 o'clock, the parade will kick off, ending here at Smith Academy Park in front of Town Hall with a small ceremony. And then after that ceremony at 2:30 at the Pavilion, there will be a chicken barbecue open to the public, and more information about tickets for the chicken barbecue can be gotten on the Auxiliary Hatfield American Legion Auxiliary webpage or the Legion webpage. So those are the two events coming up this month. And with that said, I do want to make a comment. I've heard a lot of people discuss the last override and the tax increase, but I have not heard from anybody about all the different money that a lot of people have worked hard to save the town of Hatfield. So I just want to remind people that you take the 5 and 10 project. We got a $2 million grant at the beginning, and then when we ran into trouble with help from Senator Joe Comersford and Lindsay Sabadarga and Secretary McKinney's office, we then got another 1.5 million. And under the wastewater treatment plant, we got 2.4 million. At first, we weren't going to get a grant. And then with the help of Congressman McGovern's office and Marlene making some phone calls, we got the 2.4 million. So with those two projects, that's 5.9 million that we've been able to get to the town, but it's taken a lot of people working and efforts. And I do want to also say, over the years I've been on the board, both police chiefs, both fire chiefs, the DPW, the town administrator, town clerk, schools, everybody's worked to get different various grants for the town of Hatfield. So when we talk about paying taxes, we should also mention all the people that have been involved working hard to get money for the town of Hatfield. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's been sort of bugging me for a while. Anyways, we'll now move, if that's okay, to public forum. Do we have anybody here for public forum? Come on up then.
I assume I can use this mic?
Yes, just don't do anything, just speak.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak about paint stewardship legislation presently before.
Can you hear them?
I can't hear them at all. I just sent Karen a message. We couldn't hear.
Yeah, I can hear, I think.
Should I repeat?
Is your mic on, Karen?
That'll work. Okay.
How about? Start again.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak about paint stewardship legislation that is presently before the House Ways and Means Committee. My name is Tom Irwin. I live in Dalton, where as a member of the Waste Management and Recycling Committee, we were facing the same daunting waste crisis that Hatfield faces, rapidly increasing hauling costs and tipping fees, and looking for a solution. After careful study of ways to address this issue, paint stewardship seemed like the perfect first step. And after confirming it was working well in the eyes of consumers and retailers in Vermont, New York, and Connecticut, I became an advocate for this law. Paint stewardship is a program where paint can be returned to any participating paint retail store whenever they're open, without a disposal cost, and without regard to where the paint was purchased. The cost to consumers will be 75 cents per gallon, paid at time of purchase. 80% of the latex that's returned can be reprocessed to original specs and sold for at most 50% of original cost. Benefits, primarily, it would be a service that Hatfield residents will value. This is quickly apparent by noting that 92% of 735 Western Massachusetts residents who dropped off items at Household Hazardous Waste Day events signed petitions asking their legislators to become co-sponsors. This suggests 92% of Hatfield residents that have unwanted paint in their basements, and likely there are many, would be supporters of this law. It will also present no cost to municipalities. It will save Household Hazardous Waste Day costs. Although 28 reps and 12 senators, including Representative Sabadoza and Senator Comerford, sponsor or co-sponsor this bill, significant municipal support through resolutions is critical to compel the Ways and Means Committee to seriously consider paint stewardship, view it favorably, and send it to the floor for a vote. Hence, I respectfully request the Hatfield Select Board put paint stewardship on an upcoming agenda to make possible adding their valued endorsement of paint stewardship through passing a supportive resolution. Thank you for your attention and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else here for public forum? I'll take a motion on the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the April 10th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll second. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. And I'll make a motion that we accept the April 23rd meeting minutes as well.
I'll second. Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. We'll move to topic one. Our police chief is on Zoom with us this evening. Hi, Chief. How are you? I know you want to discuss a issue that you have with a liquor license violation.
Yeah, so every once in a while we do, I have the school resource officer from Deerfield, Sergeant Ravish. He comes down with some students, some under 21 students that he has. And what we do is they try to buy alcohol from the establishments in Hatfield. Most of the time, they're not able to purchase. We did have an incident with the Hatfield market where one of them was able to purchase I believe it was a Blue Moon Light. The clerk never asked for ID. Normally, what I do is I send a notice to the establishment when there's a violation for a first offense. However, this establishment in 2019, which was 5 years ago, in May, also sold at that time to a minor. So this is the second violation. There really is no time frame, and we do this because we don't want one of our stores, getting a reputation for selling minors. So it's my suggestion that that they have to appear in front of the licensing board, which is you all, and maybe come up with a plan on how they're going to move forward with, strengthening their policies and training so that this doesn't happen in the future.
Okay, so right now are you recommending that we have a hearing on this establishment to find out what's
Yes.
happening? Okay, Marlene, for the purpose of that, is that something that we need to vote on?
Yes.
Okay,
Please.
so Police Chief Dukochek is recommending a hearing on this establishment, so I'll make a motion that we proceed with a hearing on the establishment that's mentioned in his flyer and in the information presented to us.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have the hearing and we'll figure out how we got to go about this, because I know it's been quite some time. I think we've had a hearing on, and the establishments in town have been pretty good over the years, so.
Yes, that is true, and we want to keep them good.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Thank you.
have anything else for us?
That's it.
Okay, well, have a good evening then.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Topic 2 will be financial update from accountant in terms treasurer collector and an authorization of bond anticipation notes. So I'll hand it over to you guys. Why don't you both introduce yourself so the town remembers who everybody is?
Hi, I'm Tammy Wendelowski, Assistant Treasurer Collector here at the town.
I'm John Clark. I'm the interim treasurer collector. Been here since the last week of August of 2023. Elizabeth, you're up.
Oh, she's
Hi,
muted.
it's Elizabeth Markham. I'm the town accountant for Hatfield at this time. Actually been working with you guys just for a few months now.
Okay, so on this
Start.
bond in anticipation note,
Oh, yes. The bond anticipation note is for $4,350,000. What it is we call it a rollover. It's a temporary borrowing until we actually complete a project. That's the way municipalities do it. And I'm sure you're familiar with it in the state of Massachusetts. We borrow a piece of the project. This happens to be the wastewater treatment plant upgrades, the $12 million USDA loan. $4 million was borrowed. And in addition to the borrowed short term, and in addition to that, $350,000 was borrowed for a mini pumper for the fire department. Now, it was issued a year ago, just about a year ago, May 16th of 2023, and it's coming due in 9 days. So we've been working on this. We've been working on this since late February. The town administrator, Ms. Wendelowski, and our financial advisors. And we went through a number of steps to bring it to fruition. And we sold the note last week, on May 2nd, last Thursday, I believe that was. And we're getting delivery on it on May 16th. Our friends and colleagues, or our financial advisory firm is setting it up so when the money comes in, when the money gets delivered to the bank, the money will pay off the note, and we will move forward until the beginning of November of 2024. That's when, according to the cash flow projection, the expenditure of $4 million will be completed. So what will happen then is an additional amount. We'll roll that $4 million with an additional amount. I would assume if the project is on schedule and it's due to be completed in sometime in 2026, we would go forward and borrow at least another third of it, or perhaps the rest of what we anticipate the expenses to be. And that will come about, that will begin that process sometime in October, middle of October, August, middle of August, late August, where we start setting it up, where we map it out, figure out what our needs are for how long, and we'll most likely get an opinion, since it will be more money. We might get an opinion from Standard & Poor's, the rating agency for financial projects and debt issuances in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay, the only question I had, I was talking to Marlene. I mean, we borrowed $4 million last year for the water treatment plant. And then we're borrowing another $4 million this year but our project cost was 9, right? Because we had,
9.7,
Oh,
Plus-
9.7.
plus
So,
1.4, plus an additional, I think
The
there's,
supplemental, yeah,
yeah, the
is
supplemental.
1.4.
So that'll be,
so when you give your borrowing 4 and then another 4, and we owe 9, where are we getting the other million? Or are we waiting to borrow
what
enough?
happens is we have to pay back the $4 million, assuming the fire chief gets his mini pumper. We'll be paying back, we're rolling both over because the chief hasn't got the mini pumper yet. It's not completed. And it's expiring, in a little over a week, and we need to move it forward. Now, our cash flow states us at probably about a third of that $4 million. And the end date to that is late October. So we've made a decision to move it to the end of October, the beginning of November. And my recommendation will be to add at least another third of the cost, and an additional $4 million on top of the $4 million. So in other words, it would be somewhere around $8 million, depending on the length of the project. We don't want to go any longer than a year. So if the project cash flow is accurate and it will be completed in a year, we'll borrow the remaining amount of the expenses.
Okay, does the finance committee have any questions or concerns on this bond? We need a motion on this, Marlene?
Well, I have a number of documents for the select board to sign.
Yeah,
Just signature pages. They're getting smarter, not harder.
they have to vote, where it's vote of the select board, they have to vote all those.
Yes, they have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
In your
they have to vote
packet.
to approve the bond, the notes and processes.
It says vote of the select board.
Yes,
Okay, so
I have a motion here.
you have the
If
motion
you
that we
wish me
have to
state it.
read?
Yeah, it's basically on the
Oh.
bottom. I can state it for you. These are.
I need to read it,
financial
so-
report.
Where is that motion then?
The very bottom, it says members of the Town of Hatfield Select Board.
Okay, so that's the motion that we have to
That's the
read.
motion for the bond anticipation note?
Yes.
Okay, so they do not have to vote what
do
they
to-
have in their,
They do have to vote. They do have to vote to approve the issuance of the new money, which is actually the same amount of money, but that's what it's called, because it expires on May 16th and it needs to be renewed for another 5 months. 5 months and 2 weeks. So there has to be a vote that the board votes to approve the authorization of a ban rollover.
okay.
So I can recite it and I can ask for your vote.
Well, I mean, I have to put, I can't say I ask you to vote. I'd have to say I make a motion to vote to approve the notes and provisions of a bond anticipation note totaling $4,350,000 to be delivered on May 16th. 4 million of borrowings are the result of a prior note issued on May 16th, 2023 to pay for the first segment of wastewater treatment upgrade project. 350,000 are for the purchase of a fire department mini pumper. Both projects were authorized by town meeting vote on May 10th, 2022 under Article 17.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
And
I'll second that.
we have a second. Do we any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye,
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
thank you.
Okay, so they still need to proceed to vote these as well.
Yes, they need this, I'm gonna
Okay.
unbundle this and give them the documents to sign.
Oh, I believe they're in the signature
You
folder.
have all the.
They're in their,
up here to
the
sign.
documents they need to sign are in the signature folder.
Well, these are all just signatures, so it will be a lot more quick. It will move a lot more.
I think that's what's in the signature folder, right?
Yes, all those
Yeah.
documents, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, well, these are just the signature pages. They've do it a little differently now for your convenience, but please, I would welcome any signatures, any and all signatures.
Yeah, we'll sign them tonight.
Thank
no
you very
problem.
much, sir.
I mean, since everybody's here now, since we got the bond anticipation note over with, we now can move to a financial update.
Well, I think
We
John
need
just said
another
you still
motion?
have to vote all these
Okay,
items here.
all I have is this right
Well,
here.
Just read the first paragraph. That's all you need to do. Now, it says the clerk of the select board, I interpret that as the one with the most seniority. Select board member Roski, I would recommend that you or your colleague, select board member Gagan, read it. The first paragraph of the vote, don't have to read it all,
Okay, just this part.
just that part.
Okay. I, the clerk of the select board, well, I'm not the clerk, am I officially, or?
I would
It says-
say, there's no official
Yeah.
clerk, so I
Yeah.
would say the one with the most seniority, sir, so I would go with that.
Okay. I have the select board of the town of Hatfield, Massachusetts, town certify that a meeting of the board held May 7th, 2024, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present. The following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. And I voted to approve the sale of 4,350,000 5.25% general obligation bond anticipation notes, the note of the town dated May 16, 2024, and payable November 1st, 2024 to Piper Sandler Company at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $23,011.50. Do I have to continue with the next?
No, you're good.
Okay, so I'm good.
That's fine. Well, there's a number of documents besides that, so I'll take that one, and whenever you're finished, at your convenience. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, could I ask a question? I know you guys are in the process of.
Well, just a second. I'm trying to figure out if we need anything else to vote on here with this
I don't believe,
bond?
they just need to sign the
Yeah, there's-
pages.
Well, that and all the rest of the documents. There's an additional 6 signatures that go along with it for various reports.
Which
Now,
are
again,
here.
I have them in a consolidated format provided by Lock Lord, where they can just sign the signature sheets.
Okay, that's,
If
I believe that's what-
If that would expedite it
That's
or be more
Yeah.
efficient for the board. I believe the rest of them are individuals.
We both have to sign, right?
Yes.
Another one?
There's, next one is, right here, there's 2 of these to sign. Just one signature necessary.
Here? No, that's town
On
clerk.
the left. There's the second page to that.
This one.
For some reason, they want to. And then to the left,
over here.
town clerk has
Yeah.
to certify some of these, so there's pages with her name stapled to it.
There.
Correct. Let's see.
These 2. That one. That one. That one. Oh, I forgot one. I'll have to sign that one too. Should have brought another pen, right?
There's all the ink.
Perfect, thank you.
So we're all signed?
You're signed, and I'll seal it and deliver it.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Cahill, so not trying to,
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, I just want to kind of summarize what I thought I just heard, just to confirm this. So the town, given the wastewater treatment plant project, the town is authorized to borrow approximately $10 million. Is that 9.7? Is that what I heard?
It's actually 12,029,000
12 million?
with a grant of 2.4 million, yes.
Yeah.
So it's roughly 9.7,
Okay, so the town share is 9.7. We've
correct?
been authorized to borrow that.
Yes,
What we've done so far is we borrowed a short-term ban of $4 million
correct.
last year, which is going to expire in a couple of days. Okay, and what the selectmen have just done, if you ask the selectmen, to borrow another $4 million ban to pay, basically to refinance that.
To refinance the ban,
That
correct?
first ban, okay? So we're still, we have $4 million of debt outstanding. So over the course of the project, we will end up borrowing more money via short-term bans, I assume.
There will be another ban for sure.
Sure, okay. And at some point, when the project is done, we will then term out the entire project over 20 years or 40 years or what have you.
USDA is usually 40,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so that's what's happening here.
Yes,
Okay, we're rolling over the first ban, we're refinancing it, and we're anticipating having to use additional bans while the project is being
yes.
constructed. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
hopefully that,
okay, so we're all set with the bond? So I know what everybody's been waiting for is the financial update from the accountant and interim treasurer, so I don't know who wants to start. The accountant want to start or the interim treasurer wants to start?
Okay, I can start. Up to you, Elizabeth. Well, I guess I'll
Hi,
start.
folks. Not sure what you're expecting me to report on for financials, but I can update you. I've sent over all of the revenues to date that we have received. We are currently, for your local receipts that are used, that you raise on a recap, we are in surplus right now. So we have met our anticipated estimated local receipts and will hopefully with all of the 2 more months, so we'll exceed it by more. Real estate, we're on target and in good shape there with our collections. All of our state aid is on target. We always hope that. They haven't changed what they estimated they were going to be giving us. Personal property also is in good shape in collections. We have posted most everything through April. There's only a handful of receipts that are out there that maybe come up to about $15,000. Just looking for a couple of clarifications on things so we can get those posted. And I see that Tammy's already put a bunch of May receipts in there. So she's on it and on top of getting that stuff into us very quickly. That's where the revenues are. Does anybody have any questions on those for me?
Finance committee, any questions?
I'm sorry,
More interested in the expense side.
interested, I didn't hear that.
Oh, expense side.
More interested in the expense side.
Expense side, okay.
Thank you.
Well, I know that when we last looked at it, we were in very good shape. I'll run a quick report right now so I can give you an update on that. Bear with me 1 second. We were well within mostly 70% everywhere, where you would expect to be more like 80% expended. So we were in really good shape, but I will quickly run a report and give you a lowdown of that. So overall, the budget is at 73.86% expended, and that is through May, beginning of May. So we only have the last 2 months to go. There aren't any really big troublesome spots that I can see by department. Is there any particular department you're concerned about?
No.
No, we're good?
Just one, generally to make sure that everybody's on track, that there's no unexpected things that are gonna be thrown at us at year end that we would have to come up with money for. I know we have to
I understand
address both
Only the
locations.
invoices that aren't in yet.
Huh?
Right.
Only the
There-
invoices that aren't in yet.
Right.
There's, as you know, there's snow and ice deficit, which we, you know, that's kind of anticipated. You had an odd winter with small snowstorms that cost more money than a large snowstorm. Because you're out there, you know, sanding and everything. I've always said that I'd rather have a foot than 2 or 3 inches. But that's the biggest troublesome area that I see.
But we've addressed that in the budget.
Right, right.
So we should be all set. We have enough money in free cash to take care of our snow and ice deficit.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, you can raise it on a recap, but it's never really a good idea. And, you know, there may be enough money left over in some other departments. You can do interdepartmental transfers. Anything else? Okay, one last thing I'll mention is that we have had a fiscal year 23 audit. We are still waiting for the final, well, at least the draft from the auditors. I finished up with them beginning last week. They thought they may have it to us at the end of the week, but you know, they probably are finalizing a few things and hopefully we'll get it this week to see where we're at. There was nothing really significant that they brought up to me. So.
How come, don't we generally do the audit in the fall? Why are we so late?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody's worked with Tony Roselli's company to schedule that. I don't know who worked on that.
Last year was.
Marlene, would you know?
I was in communication with the accountant prior to Elizabeth.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. When did Elizabeth start?
February.
February?
February. So, okay. So she's essentially catching up what hadn't gotten done
Yeah.
prior to this. So, but we have free cash has been certified.
Free cash was certified.
Have we done, what is it, Schedule A and all that
Schedule A was submitted.
was submitted? So as far as the state goes, we're in okay shape.
Yeah, we're caught up.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good. We don't have a history of being caught up, so that's why I asked the question.
Well, I'll try to beat all of those dates next year because that's what I do every year. I have this goal where I try to get it done earlier than I did the previous year. Although that does set the bar a little high sometimes.
Any more questions for Elizabeth?
I'm good. Thank you.
I guess you got questions for John?
Well, nice to meet you, or, you know, virtually meet you.
John's got a report, I guess?
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to go over in a spatial format of my time here. I came in the last week of August this past summer and proceeded to do, you know, all the requirements of what a treasurer collector's office needs to do throughout the course of the year. But first, I was wonderfully exposed to the process here of tax collection and reporting processes by Joanne. She was the treasurer's clerk, and the first week I was here, she showed me about how all the postings went and how they were labeled, how they were named, et cetera, the turnovers and whatnot, and had a party for her as she was leaving that day. And then when I said, well, I can take over that, and I was told by my colleagues, no, you're not. Here, his cash is this, is that. So I'm going to go, like I said, a spatial format. Tax recapitulation worksheet, the recap, you know, for setting the tax rate annually, was completed and submitted in time to set the FY24 tax rate. That's a state and, you know, local requirement. Statement of indebtedness was also built into that, which was Something I hadn't done in probably a decade, and I managed to work my way through that. So that worked out well. Let's see. Next is other post-employment benefits. I'm sure most people in this field are aware of OPEB and the unfunded liability with healthcare, and worked on that. Took a list of all employees, the most current insurance date, sent it along to our actuary, and created that report, which is an annual requirement by the state and federal government. Let's see. What else do we do? 6 years of tailings, uncashed checks, pardon me. Which is a best practices through auditors and an auditor's requirement. So we managed to clean that up within.
Took a couple months.
It took a couple months, yes. It took a while, but we sent letters. We were able to reissue some checks, which was good, that were stale dated and uncashable. We sent letters to everybody that was on that list, and we were able to get a lot of them to, cash their checks. And the rest of it, we've put in what's called a tailings account, and that takes it out of the vendor account, payroll, whatever checking accounts we have. Let's see. Oh, tax title analysis. Preparing for tax title. Now, I got to say, I may have started the ball rolling downhill, but Ms. Wendelowski did a fantastic job of keeping at it. We sent letters. I had a letter template that we sent out, and there was 3 letters created from the VADAR system that were able to nudge it along, and it went from 25 potential tax title liens, which is a pretty scary proposition these days in Massachusetts local government, down to 5, and I think we've got it down to 4.
It's pretty much close.
Pretty much down to 4, so that's very
We're
good. So
in
there'll only be an
talks.
ad. There'll only be an ad in the paper. They will go from being delinquent taxes for the current, for the past fiscal year, to and actually what is called a taking, which is a form that it transfers from the collector's side as a collectible in the fund accounting process to an asset, which any tax title that is not any delinquent taxes from a prior fiscal year in the following fiscal year that goes unliened will cause a deduction to free cash. So we're making sure that every last penny is covered so that we don't affect free cash. Budgets, let's say budgets were quite a project. There was a lot involved in it. The treasurer's office budgets, of course, for treasurer and collectors, expenses and salaries and whatnot. Salaries are calculated townwide, including schools and enterprise, all employees. Insurance for town employees and retirees. Medicare, retirement, water, sewer, stormwater. Oops, that's in the wrong spot. My apologies. Okay, Medicare retirement. So we were able to get through the budgets effectively, and I believe they were approved. And let's see. I don't know why that article is in there. The water, sewer, stormwater, that just jumped out from the bottom of my page. My apologies. Free cash certification, that went very well. We agreed to balances and we each did our part. And fortunately, I had Patty Cotton helped find the worksheet that had the numbers on it, and I was able to complete the treasurer's tax report with what was preset by the previous treasurer. So that went well. Now, the next was the ban. Now, the ban, it's not just a simple process of okay, we want to borrow this, go to the financial advisors. We had to analyze cash flow, due dates, additional future funding, in other words, based on the cash flow. Preparing the official statement, that was quite a work in progress. That was completed, has been published in on what's called EMA, and that's the that records all the borrowings of government agencies in the country. So we have our financials, our official statement published and completed. We had a discussion with Standard & Poor. I thought it demonstrated good financial stewardship, and we'll see if when the report is completed, how we did. I'm hoping for a continuation of a stable outlook on the AA with a stable outlook for the town of Hatfield. Let's see. Yeah, we just got the documents that you signed. We're FedExing them off tomorrow, and that's where I am today. Okay, that's where I stand today, which is I'm going to be exiting the town of Hatfield today. Unless, of course, they need me for any questions or whatever, I'll be 100% available. Everybody's got my number. They've got my personal email, and they're more than welcome to reach out to me if there's any need to go over items or whatever. Now, I will go over, these were the financial tasks completed throughout the course of the last 8.5 months. What didn't go completed, I'm sorry to say, is FY24 cash reconciliations. That's being worked on now with the accountant and the assistant treasurer collector. I put my part in as far as, the way to go about it in the best fashion. And that once that begins its, once the new process is finalized and completed, that should move very quickly, right up to date. Let's see, what else? The other items that were not completed were the tax title ad. We're still waiting until the last minute for people to come forward, but we won't wait too long. I can promise that. And the year-end close, which we're not at yet. And that's what I have for the Bill Ricca. Hatfield Select Board and the residents of Hatfield.
Oh, we do appreciate your time here at Hatfield and all the work you've done. I know the Finance Committee probably has some questions.
Are we reconciled with the school?
Reconciled with the school as far as their expenditures.
And maybe it's not your side, maybe it's the accounting side, but I know, some years back, there was some questions about, reconciliation there too. So I know you mentioned some other places where we're not completely reconciled. I didn't know if we're fully reconciled with the school.
I don't have that information. I don't think that.
I'll jump in here.
Oh, thank you.
Folks. I'll reach out to the school to see what they have done in the past. I have not seen something. I know that they enter into a system on their side and then they send it to us and we enter it on the Vadar system. Those are the two things that should be true up. So I will reach out to them and get back to you on that.
Richard was working on, Elizabeth, Richard was working with the school.
Okay.
This is all a part of it. All their
Continue that.
All their expenses.
I forgot to.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth, go ahead.
I did forget to mention that we do have receivables reconciled with some small variances that we're working on. Some of them are timing issues. Correct. So that we do have a lot of reconciliations done.
Everything that the schools do is through the treasurer's office and the accountant's office. So we get their reports, we reconcile their accounts along with, their balances, their accounts along with the town offices. So it's really one big reconciliation for the schools and the towns. The school is a part of the town. It's not not a district or anything.
And then you two, the accountant and the treasurer, you reconcile
Yes.
also.
Yes, we reconcile to the cash in the bank to the general ledger.
And we're current on that, or
We're getting
relatively
there.
current?
We're
Okay,
getting there. We're working on it.
that's good, that's good. There were some years there, we were way behind.
With with all the movement and the changes, there's been some work to do, but we'll get there.
Thank you.
Yes, Mike.
Quick questions for John. John, what is our current S&P bond rating?
AA stable.
AA stable, and you anticipate that
I'm hoping, fingers crossed,
going forward?
is, they were concerned about a couple of items, but I believe we allayed their fears effectively. There was a reason why there was an operational override, and it's because of current costs the town had to get caught up on current expenses that, was starting to move in the opposite direction. And now it looks like it should be stable. It doesn't look like we'll need any more operational overrides, at least in the near future, by my observation.
Yeah, there was some cash discrepancies that we had, not cash, but discrepancies that had to be reconciled. And I assume once they're reconciled, our rating should be fairly strong, should continue to be.
Well, I've always said that what this town does to address its needs financially is stronger than a AA, even stable AA. So we'll see how that goes.
One other question on OPEB.
Yes, sir.
You said you went through and did an OPEB
Yes.
estimate?
Yeah.
And what?
Our liability actually went down by $245,000.
Okay, great. And how does that compare to what Rossetti's, they usually come in with an estimate of our OPEB as well every year when they do their review and report. Do you have any idea how that?
Well, it's roughly our liabilities in the high 7 million area, 7.9, I think. And now I came from a big town. I came from the town of Billerica, and we had a $350 million in OPEB liability, like almost $300 million.
Case pretty much throughout.
Yeah, it's pretty much an issue. There's no real effective way of doing it unless somehow it's decided by GASB to join the retirement funding and the OPEB funding, the other post-employment benefits, roll it all together and push it out to 2060. That's been a thought out there. That's what I've heard. But I don't know if that's still relevant. I think it is an ongoing problem. There's no question about it. But every year the money is appropriated from available funds to pay the insurance.
Right.
So it's, I don't know. I don't want to disparage the GASB. They do a great job, and on some level we all report to them in local government and state government.
Yeah.
It's not there's no law of physics that states that you have to future fund those things. In fact, many people don't.
Because they can't.
Right.
They can't.
Pay-as-you-go systems are legitimate.
Yeah, I was just wondering how his calculation
Yeah.
fared against Rossetti's estimates, that's all I was wondering. I know it's a large amount to climb, let's put it that.
So
Yeah.
we have anything else for discussion on this topic? Marlene? No. So we thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you.
your time with the
Thank you
town.
all.
Always.
Thank you.
See you again.
Let's
we
talk
can-
to you soon.
Okay, now I don't know if Finance Committee's moving,
We're moving out of here.
you're moving out, okay? So,
We like you guys a lot. We're gonna go to
all right.
Hey.
I'll give everybody a chance to get out.
Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Great job as usual. It's only been 2 times, but still a good job.
Good odds.
Yeah.
Okay, topic 3, overview and update discussion. Just a reminder to all residents, May 14th, town meeting, 7 PM, Smith Academy. And I strongly suggest you go to the town website. The articles are posted, especially when it comes to the planning board's recommendations to the town. They're pretty intense, so please take the time to read those to see which way you want to vote on those articles. So,
Sure, go right ahead. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. People upstairs? Oh, okay. Okay.
for the residents, do you feel we need a quick overview of the articles tonight?
I don't think so.
Because there's only a few, there's a few articles for grants that we have a shot for. Talking about grants, there's 3 shots there.
Yeah.
And the fire department override. There's the pond project.
Yeah, several
renovation.
community preservation projects.
So again, you can always go online and look at the articles unless you feel that there should be.
Oh, no, the information's out there. I hope everybody can look at it.
Okay. Okay, so DPW report, if Phil wants to come up, have a seat. Thank you, Phil. We're ready for your report.
In front of you is the contract for the wastewater treatment plant. I believe that has to be voted.
So this project is $9,393,700.
So we did a vote on this already, right?
You voted at a previous meeting to accept the bid that was submitted, but this is the contract.
Okay, so.
So
we need
just a
to
motion
vote accept
to,
the contract.
yes,
So I'm looking for the,
the contractor is WM Schultz Construction, Inc.
I don't think I have
The
that.
motion is in your packet. That's it right there. That's the signature.
Is this one?
Yeah, so I have
That's all
the
I get?
entire contract here if you'd like to look at it. But it's pretty lengthy.
yeah, I just need to, what I need for the motion.
It's
Okay.
right in your packet,
Yeah.
right
I,
on the
Yeah.
agenda, under
Okay.
topic 4, number 2, I'm sorry, number 1.
yeah, but I mean, do you have a written motion that we have to,
It's right there.
Oh.
Under, yeah, where it says vote.
okay, so I'll make a motion to award WWTB upgrades project contract to W1 Schultz Construction Incorporated for $9,393,700.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next subject is,
The next is the water and sewer abatement. What's a
I just-
water abatement? There's no,
yes,
How
Mike.
does that amount compare to our estimates?
So the bid did come in slightly higher than what we had estimated. And on the town meeting, we're looking at a supplemental of 1,400,000, right? The treasurer, he didn't reference it when he was here earlier, but he had a conversation with bond counsel today, and Division of Local Services has a provision that if there is an increase, and it's related to a previous debt exclusion authorization approved at town meeting and by,
as well.
correct, so we can apply to the Division of Local Services. We have a form that we have to complete for that additional
That's one of the
1.4.
articles.
It is. So am in communication with town council because we really don't have to vote it. We can, but we don't have to.
I mean, the project went out 5 years ago or so, so, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't expect the same estimate from over the years. So we're always, it seems in government, you're always behind the curve when you get the project, and then by the time you finally get all the approvals and get the bidding, we're always behind as far as prices.
The engineer recommended, that the 1.4 was important to the project, it just,
The additional
the additional 1.4. And he identified those projects at a meeting several weeks ago. Or I shouldn't say those projects, the additional work.
And those are important to make sure that the plant operates safely and correctly.
Yeah, it's for the two clarifiers down there. It was the first and second alternate that is in the bid packet, but we feel that why the contractor there, now's the time to do it, not to put it off, because it's really the heart of the plant.
Okay, moving to water abatement, 144 Pantry Road.
Correct. So the water abatement, as you can see by the past bills, that we sent the meter to Ty Sales to see what happened, if it jumped, because something happened there, because as you can see by the amount of the bills compared to the previous 4 years of billing, that it's nowhere close. So, and there's no leaks in the house. So my recommendation is to approve the 144.
I noticed on this one, they were so concerned, they're even going to take the water meter back because the company itself is surprised how this meter jumped up like 1,000 times.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, without all the billing, I mean, it's been 1,300 plus bills out there, and this is the second or third abatement, so it's pretty good.
Well, this has happened with the meters before around here?
What's that?
Has this happened before
It has, yeah.
with the meters bumping like that?
Yep.
Really? I mean, I see it's been happened for the company. I wondered if it happened for us, but okay.
It's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah. Nothing's perfect.
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we abate the water charges in the amount of $2,015.67 for 144 Pantry Road.
I'll second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
And those are in the signature file, the contract that you just
Yes.
awarded and the abatement.
One of those, I think we signed, maybe? Okay,
No, these are done.
well, we'll check it. Check it afterwards, make sure we have all the signatures. Okay, you got any updates on 5 and 10, or?
5 and 10 is moving slowly along. I mean.
Oh,
you know,
don't
it's
say
the
that.
water, it's the groundwater. I mean, it's a slow process.
Wow.
I mean, your colleague can attest to it. He's out there once in a while, and it's tough going, just tough going.
Any updates? Previously, when you were here before, you mentioned the fact that there was a water issue, stormwater getting dumped into the sewer line, and it was from North Hatfield down.
Correct.
Did you find that?
We have not. Under the assessment that's going to town meeting for water, wastewater, and stormwater, part of that is to do some smoke testing. So that will take place once and if the town accepts the assessment plans, that we will do smoke testing up in that area. And what that does, it will identify who's hooked in and who's not as far as stormwater. You can bang on doors, but people will tell you yes or no, and it happened. It was a problem, a big problem. You know, and if we identify the residents through the smoke testing, is that then we'll have the authority, or the board will have the authority to send out letters giving them a fair warning that within a certain amount of time, they have to disconnect that sump pump or whatever's running in there. That shouldn't be. As you know, the town bylaws are pretty clear that it's $50 fine once you find out, and then it's $50 per day after if you don't unhook.
And I thought there was something in the town bylaws when I was reading them, there might be even a $300 fine for first offense.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fines for dumping stormwater into the wastewater system.
Pavilion seems to be moving right along at a fast pace. Do you think it'll be done before the end of May?
Well, now some of the subs have to come in. I mean,
Okay,
that they have to roof it, the electrician has to come in. I mean, it looks nice. They did a
As far
nice.
as I know, it's on schedule pretty
It
much.
is on schedule. We had a meeting there early this week or last week there.
Last week, yeah.
Thursday, we had a meeting
Mhm.
outside there, and, I mean, he said everything looks on schedule. As, they were waiting for the structural engineer to give them the go-ahead to pour the forms that.
Mhm.
And they did that, and then the structure went up in 2 days, so they put the sheathing on it 2 more days, so it's moving right along.
and our balcony project, what's the status on our contractor for?
I have
Just
not
Waiting to
heard.
hear from the contractor. I reached out to him and
We're waiting to hear from our contractor.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that long of a process once he gets up in there.
Please express our concerns.
I will. I will.
Hey, you got anything else for us,
Well,
Phil?
that's it. I mean, that we had a longtime employee left, resigned, and we're in a process, and we hired a new employee, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and then we have another employee returning. So next meeting, we'll have, the authority to wage a new employee form for you to fill out. But Max Bartlett's coming back to work, so.
that's
So
good.
you'll be up to full staff in a couple weeks.
Well, we're still one short, but that's okay.
Mm.
We'll get by.
Well, we have the position posted.
The postings on MMA and the website, and somebody will come through, hopefully. Hopefully.
Okay, any questions for Phil?
No, it's great. I'm really happy to see something going on over here. I know
It's been a long process.
Wade,
people were involved in that, and
Yeah.
I know people that were involved or walking or driving by going, there's something there, and that's nice.
we've waited a long time.
Yeah, but,
What's this for?
Progress.
done. It'll be done.
Okay,
It's progress.
Yeah, they can since he's here. So you've submitted this employee personnel form for their approval. This is for Max that you were just
Correct.
talking about. So,
Yeah, I didn't know because it wasn't on the agenda, but I guess you could bring it up under business, so new business and.
okay, so we just sign that and then you're all set. We can move to town administrator report.
okay. Yes, you
Thank
do
you,
have to
Phil.
vote on that. The employee
Yeah.
form, yes.
I'll make a motion though. We got it in.
I'll make a motion that we accept the rate adjustment request for Max Bartlett as presented.
I'll
Well,
second.
it's not really a rate adjustment. He's being hired back. So it's yeah,
Oh,
way to hire him and pay him at the rate that's,
okay. Should I make a motion to rehire?
I would say just make a motion to approve the employee personnel form for Max Bartlett.
Okay, I'll approve the employee form for Max Bartlett.
I'll second.
There.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion carries. All right.
And he's being hired as a laborer, right? Heavy equipment operator. Okay.
Okay, town administrator report.
The first item is a request that I received from Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. The PVPC, along with the Franklin Regional Council of Governments, is proposing to submit a project application to the state under the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant. This would be the next grant application round. And they're reaching out to communities in actually Hamden, Hampshire, and Hamden counties. So Hatfield is among the list of communities that they've contacted to support this grant application. And the idea is to appoint several elected officials or leaders from each community to meet seven times throughout the year to look at the strengths and vulnerabilities of the Army Corps of Engineers flood management system in the Upper Hampshire and Hampden counties. And there is an estimated in-kind match of $15,400. I asked if that was per community, and they said, no, it is not. Again, it's just an estimate, but the $15,400 would be for all of the towns. So each town would have a portion of that $15,400 in-kind matches. It would be your time that you're given to attending the meetings.
Yeah, there's 11 towns listed in the last page.
Right. Long Meadow, Springfield, Agawam, West Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke, East Hampton, South Hadley, Northampton, Hadley, and Hatfield.
So it'd be a little bit over 1,000 per town if they set this up.
Yeah. So, the point of this is to, take a look at the Connecticut River for flood resiliency. And what prompted this was all the flooding last year
Right.
that took place.
Oh,
And throughout this process, if they're awarded the contract, these communities will also, my understanding is maybe communicate with Vermont towns that suffered greatly as a result of that flooding last year. So it is a study and of flood resiliency along the Connecticut River, and they're asking participants to be identified at some point in the future.
Well, I think it's good to help us with flood management, and if you have all these towns together, it might even allow you to get federal grants and
Absolutely.
federal money to help make sure the dike stays strong.
Yeah.
And we have water management, because that's important.
And I just want to know, as part of the comprehensive plan developments, one of the components or chapters of that plan was flooding. And so, we need to take it seriously. So I would recommend that the town participate in this. And if the board is willing to do that, then I would ask for you to sign the letter or authorize me to sign the letter of support to send.
Well,
With the grant
I'll make a
application.
motion to support the Regional Flood Resilience Project application to the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant Program as submitted by FRCOG and PVPC.
I'll second that.
Any motion made, motion seconded, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so there you go, Marlene.
It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's good for the town.
The next item is basically a notification, and you may have heard about this in the news. Governor Healy signed a bill into law that permanently allows on-premises licensees licensed for the sale of alcohol beverages. This would be distilled spirits, cordials, liquors, or mixed drinks to be taken off premises. So if you recall during COVID, when people were just doing takeout, the state law allowed mixed drinks to be taken off premises. They had to be, they were covered with a seal. But now this has been signed into law, permanent.
But the mixed drinks is the way I read it is you have to purchase something to eat
You do. There
On
is
the
a
premises.
yes.
in order to
Yes.
get the mixed drink to go.
That is correct.
Right.
And it has to be prepared there, I guess.
Right. Yeah, with the purchase of at least one item of food prepared on site that's sufficient to serve one individual.
Okay. Your next item would be,
This is just a quick update. At a previous meeting, I notified the board of a letter of interest from the owners at 106 Depot Road. That's the Northeast Christmas Tree Farm, that they were interested in selling the property. And I had a follow-up conversation with one of the owners, and the family has decided not to sell the property and continue to keep it in the family,
Okay.
which I thought was a nice idea.
And topic 6.
Next item, again, is a follow-up. This is continued old business. The Farm Bike Tour fundraiser, which is scheduled for Sunday, June 2nd, between 9 and 12. The board had asked if this would just be one group traveling on bikes, but I understand from the organizer, there will be about 20 people and 10 to a group. So there'll be 2 groups. And we've received an updated route of that tour, which we will post on the town's website. And they're going to be meeting at Prospect Meadow Farm at 9 a.m. And I don't know if you received this in your packet, but the ride is about 2.5 miles to Glonka Farm. Then they'll turn onto Route 5 and 10 for a short distance. And the idea is to stop at some of the farms along the route.
And that's on the website. town's
It will be
website.
on the website.
Perfect.
So that was just some additional details, and I don't think the board has any concerns with that, right?
I do not.
Okay.
Do we have any new business?
I don't have any new business. The fire chief did submit an appointment or a new hire. It does not require the board to vote. And
Okay,
that should be in the signature folder.
right here.
Right, yeah.
Oh, this one.
This is a per diem firefighter EMT.
Oh, geez. Must be at the
on
bottom.
the
There it is.
That one. Okay. We gotta sign that one note too.
Oh, okay. I don't think that was anything different than what John had them sign, right? It was the same thing.
Okay. So we've got all our signatures and we're all set and there's no new business.
No, there isn't any new business.
So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Okay.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So
Thank
be it.
you.
Thank you.